close the doors of your mind, close the gates of your mind, close the gates of your palace, your mishkan, your mikdash, your ahal, your tent, your temple, within yourself, within your mind, within your 2 ears, within your eyes and your mouth, within your thought process, within yourself, and let your words be few. For today is a day of freedom. Today is a day that Yahuwah has given to us another shabath, that we may cease from our own mind, our own makashba, yetzer, and our imaginations and our thoughts, that we may take on his understanding and his thoughts and his understanding and empty our minds of what we knew before. For all things that we know are only temporary. For it's all transformations, even as a caterpillar takes off their skin and then they get wings. All things must be put away in order for one to elevate within oneself. For today we acknowledge the one who made all the heart of the earth, all of the nahar of the earth, all the rivers and streams, the one who made the yam, the sea, where the dolphins swim, the one who formed and shaped all of the things and feeds them, the one who allows the shamash to come out of its portal and to shine forth its light in the morning time. For Yahuwah is our sun, and his rays is what needs to touch you in your life, in your heart, in your mind, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your own heart. For his love, his compassion is truth, and his love, his compassion is his fruit, and that is one of his first fruit. He says, seek ye first the Malkuth, and all his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And only things that be added to you, the very same things as the 22 letters of the alphabet. Then your language will change, your lashon will change, and your thoughts will change, and things you see will change, and your understanding will change, and the things that you say out of your tongue will change because of these words. He said these words today, he said let them store them up in your heart and your mind. Why? Because these are all a part of your life. So as we move forward in the love and compassion of Yahuwah infinitely, always, and in truth. Right? So this is the book of Genesis, Bereshit. This is the book of Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 1 and verse 1. Chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, in the beginning, I say, Bereshit, in the beginning, Elohim created the Shamayim and earth. In the beginning, Bereshit bara Elohim at, right? Knowing that this is the beginning of the creation of the Elohims, the gods. It's like in Yukanan chapter 10, he said, isn't that written in your Torah, says you are gods? And if he called you Elohim and the word of Yahuwah came, you can't change it. The same way he judges in the midst of the Elohims and the gods. He mishpat in the midst of the Elohims. Why? Because this is how he judges between matters on earth and in the Shamayims in the unseen world. It says, the earth was without form and void, just like you're looking at a form and void human being. A human being without form and void, and they have nothing on the inside. It's darkness, right? Form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. The very same thing you see in the beginning, the very same thing you see on the winter solstice when there's darkness, the longest night. And he says, and was over the face of the deep. Right? And he said, we're moving toward the longest night. And darkness is over the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim was hovering on the face of the waters. It was moving on the face of the waters. He said, so where you at? And people say, where you at? And he was moving from the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let there be light. Let there be order after the longest night. Let there be light. And there was order. There was light. And Elohim saw the light, and it was good. He said, so you'll be good after this, I say, longest night. Will you be ta'ud for the rest of the year? And guess what he said? And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. He said he separated the light from the darkness. Amazingly, everybody's doing whatever they're going to do when the planets align. When the stars align, you look at the 100 star aligning with all the other stars and all the planets, you're going to see what? People doing things they should not be doing. He says, so will you be participating or will you not be participating? Are you light or are you darkness? Because Nimrod was a mighty hunter. He was a mighty hunter too. And guess what? And darkness was, and he says, and darkness he called night. He says, and Elohim separated the light from the darkness, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. He called Kashak. And there was evening and there was morning, first day. Right? Evening, morning, first day. Akkad Yom. These are all a part of it. And amazingly, this is the seventh day. Amazing. And then when the sun goes down, it begins the first day. But it's darkness, over the longest night, over the face of the deep. And then when the sun rises, let there be light. He said the patterns still stick. The patterns of the seasonal cycles stick always to what it is in the beginning. Just like the sun comes, we're going into the sixth portal. This is the sixth portal. Yeah, 666. Yeah, we're going into the sixth portal, and we got four corners at the four corners of our tent. And we're going into the sixth portal toward Pesach. And it's always going to be like this until everything starts getting erratic, and then you'll know that the end is coming. And it says right here, and Elohim said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, right? So we did all that, right? Going to the book of Proverbs. Going to the book of Proverbs. Actually, Proverbs chapter 7. Actually, no, go to Proverbs. We can go there right now. Yeah, going to Proverbs. Not there. Proverbs chapter 4. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 18. Mashali Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 18. Mashali Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 18. But the path of the righteous is like the dawn, right? Just like when the sun rises. It's just like the dawn when the sun rises out of the portal. And amazingly, if you get up early enough, you'll see it. To those who have consciousness. It says, the path of the righteous is like the dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until a full day. Why? Just like when the sun, the path shows, and then it gets brighter and brighter until a full day. It expands. That path will expand when you see it move. When you see the ruach moving on the face of the world, ruach marakaf al panim, the path will expand. It gets further and further, wider and wider. And guess what it says? The way of the wicked is like deep darkness. He says, just like deep darkness. It's just like when the longest night. It's just like that. It's just like deep darkness. And guess what? They do not know over what they stumble. He said, you don't even know where you stumbling at. Why? Because their illumination in their thought, heart, and their mind is not illuminated to this. But guess what? My son, be attentive to my debar. He say, why would he say that? Because he say Adam. That's who he put in charge of the gun. He put Adam in charge of the gun. Why? Because he's telling you to be attentive to my debar. Because he put Adam in charge of the gun. Because he's a trustee. He's an inheritor. He's the person that's going to take over everything. And you know what happens after that? Incline your ear to my sayings. Why? Because his father is telling him what to do. Because if he doesn't know what to do, then guess what happens? Everything will be dismantled, everything will be destroyed, and you will lose everything. And guess what it says? For they are life to those who find them. He said they are life to those who find them. Because Yahushua said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. But you know how it is with Shaitan. Shaitan wants you to have death. He came to steal, kill, and destroy. Shaitan wants things to happen to you. Shaitan wants you to be destroyed. He wants your life to be destroyed. That's what he wants. But Yahushua said, I come that you might have life. Kaya. But guess what he said? But guess what? For they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Why? Because it's healing to your Ishar, because your Ishar don't rule nobody. Because your Ishar is under you. You're the trustee. You're the person who inherits everything. Because it's going to be what? And healing to all their flesh. Why? Because now Satan has made the world backwards. He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, she shall be called Ishar. Why? Because she's under you. You're supposed to be over her. It doesn't matter if they're your mother or your mother or your sister. Why? Because if they are over you, then guess what happens? You lose your rule. You have always been over them. He said guidance. Yahushua was younger than his mother, but that was her guide to salvation. The very same thing when it came to other things, and people say, why? Because this is all a part of it. And it says, keep your heart with all vigilance. Why? Why do you say keep your leg, your makashaba, your yetzirah with all vigilance? Why? Because you are the protector. Because Even though this is the longest night, and you got to be watching, because it's a night of much watching. People say when the sun goes down, yeah, it's a night of much watching. It's a deep darkness. Oh, it's a night of much watching. I ain't each lapid. Yeah, you need your eyes open. And guess what it says? Keep your heart with all vigilance. Why? For from it flows the springs of life. That's why we talked about a man's tongue is like deep waters. Because whatever you say out of your mouth, it's like what? It springs, the springs of life. Because Yahushua said, I'll come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. He said, he that ordered his steps rightly, I will show him the salvation of Yahuwah. Put away from you crooked speech. Why? Anything that goes opposite of what Yahuwah said, that's why he say everything has to change. Your little tongue has to be just like this light rays that comes out of the portal in the sixth portal going toward the longest dip. Put devious talk far from you. He say put these things away. He say talk of adultery, fornication, anger, resentment, bitterness, gossip, slander, hatred, jealousy. All these things are a part of the things, devious talk. When you allow these things to enter your tongue, then guess what happens? Your tongue becomes death. Your tongue becomes death. And you will not be bringing forth no life in your life. That's why he said, why did he think he called Adam called Kuah the mother of all living? Her name means life giver. So when that woman doesn't speak things that are life to you, it will bring death to you because it creates a force field around you. When you walk by the way, when you lie down, you rise up. But if they're speaking words that are of death and destruction, then guess what happens? Yahuwah withholds things from you. He withholds your barak. And it says, let your eyes look directly forward. Why? Because you're going to have to continue to look forward, son. Because you're going to have to look forward. Why you got to look forward? Because there are things on the left and the right and behind you that are trying to hinder you. And guess what happens? And your gaze be straight before you. He said, keep it straight right in front of your face. So therefore, you'll be able to discern the left side and the right side. Because you hear Yahuwah on what ear? The right ear. And then you hear the Malachi on the left ear. Then you got people behind you stabbing you in the back. But then guess what? He said, keep your eyes directly forward on the path. When? Because it's like the day dawn, the day star. It'll reveal your path in the morning time. Because it's there in the morning time. And it says, do not swerve to the right or the left. He said, don't even do it. He said, because when you move into the right and the left, you can't really discern between good and evil. Just like Ta'ub and Ra. You won't be discern between good words and evil words. You ain't going to be able to do that. You got to stay in singleness of heart. And it says, turn your foot away from evil. He said, don't even use your regal for that. They put them as sandals on your feet. He said, don't even use your regal to go into evil. Ra. Why? It's important. It's important, right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 1. Proverbs, chapter 2, and verse 1. Mashali, Proverbs, chapter 2, and verse 1. Mashali, Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if you receive my debar, or words, or my amar, my utterance, and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive make your ears attentive to and inclining your lave to understanding. Why would he say that? My son, if you will receive my amar, my utterance, and treasure up my commandments with you, right? And then it says, making your ear attentive to and inclining your lave, your heart and your mind to understanding, right? And it says, that word for receive is lakak. That word for receive is lakak. Yeah, that's what it means, lakak. And then guess what it says? It means to acquire, to seize, take in marriage, to marry, to be married to. Why? Because if you marry yourself to it, then guess what? You can't break it. Because if each doesn't marry himself to the bar, he will break every single covenant and vow that he has. This is the same thing when it comes to a natural marriage. You will break it. The very same thing when it comes to the bar. If the bar, you're not married to the words and the commandments of your Ab in the Shama'ims, you're going to break all the commandments, all the covenants and all the covenants that you make here on earth. Because you know that the bar overrides you, everything, the decision that you make. And guess what? That word for treasure is Safan. That word for treasure is the Safan. He said, treasure up my commandments. That word is to hide, to treasure up, to store up, to hide it. He said, hide it. Why? Because Satan is always trying to steal it. Because Satan wants to be exalted over you. That's the only reason he's trying to steal it. He wants to steal your debar, your words, your strength, your koah, so he can be exalted over you. And by him being exalted over you, then guess what happens? Then he can rule you. Right? Because this is the longest night. It means to treasure up, to lie hidden, to lurk, to be hidden. Why? To be a covering, to hide. Why? Figuratively, to deny. He said, why would you deny? Why? Because there's some things, he said, you just don't reveal to people. It's just some things you don't do, right? This is Mashali Proverbs 7:1. My son, keep my words and treasure, he said, treasure, Saphon, or he say treasure up, or Saphon up my commandments with you. Keep my commandments and live. Because this is the duty of all men, all Adam. Because Adam was the one he entrusted the gun to. And then the Isha, it helped him in the gun. It was an Azar. He's literally saying to you, keep my commandments and live. Because that's what his name means. Because Yahushua said, I come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. In the gun. But if you don't have life, ain't no way in the world everything else going. He says, keep my teachings as the apple of your iron. As the apple of your iron. Why? Because you got to keep your eyes straight ahead. The very same thing, you're looking to the left, what you looking at? Or you looking behind you? Because everybody coming after you, and you looking to the left, he said, keep your eyes straight ahead. They already coming after you, keep your eyes straight ahead. It's all an illusion. Keep your eyes straight ahead. They can't stop you. Your eyes will stop you just by looking to the left and the right and behind you. Keep going forward. It says, bind them on your fingers, your fingerprints. That's shabath, right? Your fingerprints. Because everybody's fingerprint different. But at the same time, those fingerprints that you have, it get dirt on them, you touch things, and it'll show your criminal, your crimes. It'll be your crimes, the things you do. It'll show on your crime. It'll show on your crime. The very same thing when you're born. It'll show what type of child you are. It'll show who you are. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on the tablets of your mind, your heart. Say to Hakma, you are my sister. Why? Because that's what a Isha is supposed to have on her tongue. That's what they say a virtuous woman is supposed to be what? Wise. On her tongue is the law of kindness. It's supposed to be on her tongue. Anything she speaks is supposed to be kaya. It's supposed to be life. So therefore, if they're not speaking kaya, the only thing that's going to happen to you is death. That's all that's going to happen. Death, steal, kill, and destroy. Everything around you will be destroyed. Guess what it says? Bind them around your fingers, write them on the top of your heart. Say to Hakma, you are my sister. He said, that's why Abraham said, you my sister, huh? Because it's a wise thing we get ready to do when we go into this city. When you are Kad, the two shall become one. He said, it's a wise thing. You are my sister, Hakma, wisdom. And you know, where in the world, a sister going to be your, Isha going to be your friend. He said, it's going to be your companion and your sister when she ain't have no wisdom, Hakma, on her tongue and her mind. Because her thoughts, because why? Because your thoughts, your Mukashba, your Yetzer, a woman, Isha, is supposed to have wisdom in her thoughts. Her thoughts need to align with your thoughts. And her ways need to align with your ways. And if they don't, then guess what happens? Everything will be destroyed. Right? Say to Hukmah, you are my sister, and call Insight your intimate friend. Ain't no way in the world you're going to be friends. Especially when Hukmah on your tongue. Wisdom on your tongue. If the other person don't got wisdom, Hukmah, then guess what? Ain't no way you're going to be friends. To keep you from the forbidden woman. Why? Because this is the whole point. You got to keep your eyes straight ahead. Because there are forbidden women who don't have these traits. There are forbidden women who don't have these traits. They are forbidden. Why? They don't keep the commandments. They don't have kaya in their tongue. They don't have life. And they don't speak life. And they don't have their thoughts aligned with yours. And guess what happens? They don't have no wisdom. And then you can't say that they're your friend or your sister. They are forbidden. It's like a force field around you. They are forbidden. No matter how close they get, they can't come near you. Right? The very same thing when they each. They are forbidden for a woman. Forbidden. And it says, from the adulteress with her smooth words. Why? Because that's all they're going to do. Because he said, keep you from that type of woman. Why? Because a woman, Isha, who has a mind to commit adultery, is a woman who does not adhere to Yahuwah's commandments, and whose thoughts are not aligned with her husband, and she's looking for another man to align her thoughts with. And most likely, it will be evil in her heart. 100%. Right, so that word for apple is itzum, 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 atzum, right? Because it's spelled with an olive. So it means what? Pupil of the eye. He says, keep my commandments and live, and keep my teachings as the apple of your eye, right? Why? The middle of, it says pupil of the eye. That word for itzum is pupil of the eye. It also means middle of the night. It means middle of the night. What color your pupils is? He said some people got black pupils. He said the middle of the night. When you look at it outside, in the middle of the night, it be dark. We're going to the longest night. He said, keep it as the pupil of your eye, just like in the middle of the night. Why? Because the good man of the house knows which hour the thief is coming. He's going to watch, and he not allow his house to be broken into. Why? In the middle of the night. And guess what? Deep is blackness, right? It also means the deepest blackness, right? The longest night. That's what we're in right now. He said it's a night of much watching. Ayin ish lapid. It's the very same thing during Pesach. It was so darkness that you could be touched. It was so dark you could touch it. It's the very same thing. Same patterns. It's always been like this. It's always been like this. And it says, it also means the little man, my son. The little man of the eye, my son. Store up my commandments. Put him as the pupil of your eye. The little man, that's what it means. It also means the little man, the little tiny baby boy. He said, my son. Yeah, we talking to the little son and the father and the daughter. And it says right here, it says pupil, ball. It says black, obscure. The same thing in the beginning, kashak. You gotta keep it as light to your eye, your dark eye. Because if you go after the sight of your eyes, because all that's in the world is the lust of the flesh and the lust of the iron, lust of the eye. That's the darkness of theirs. That's the darkness of your eyes. And you keep doing that, you ain't got no light. And guess what? You gotta keep that commandments right at the frontlets between your eyes. You gotta keep it right there. You know how you ever put something in your forehead and you looking at it like this? He said, look up. Put it right at the forehead and look at it. When you see things that ain't supposed to look, just look at the command, look at it right. Put it in front between your eyes. You be like, I can't even see it. All that other stuff become blurry when you're looking up. Look at your forehead. Look at it. And everything become blurry in front of your face. And it also means apple, middle time, right? Obscure, black. That's what happens, right? So that word for fingers is etzabah. Etzabah. He says, bind them on your etzabah, your fingers, your toe, your fingers and your toes. He said, why you say your toe? Because that's your big toe, your fingers. Why? Because then when they anointed the priests, they were anointed on the big, what toe? The right big toe, the right ear. They would anoint these things. Why? Bind them on your fingers and your toe. It means to grasp. Why? Because if somebody cut off your big toes, I assure you, it's going to be real hard to walk. To grasp, to finger, right? Why? Because remember what he said? He said, man, what happened to the king? When Yehuda went up to fight and he had Simeon go. He had captured this king. He said, man, I cut off the right big toes of all these kings and I had them eat under my table. He said, as I have done, Yahuwah has repaid me. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to you when you don't adhere to Yahuwah's commandment. You don't write them on your fingers and the tablets of your heart. Yahuwah said, you know what you're going to do? He said, I'm going to do the same thing to you. Right? Because the bars, the word led to my feet and a lot to my pathway. But there's a reason why we went over that. There's a reason we went over that. All right, go to Proverbs, go to that same book, go to verse 8. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 8. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 8. It says, passing along the street near her corner, taking the road to her house in the twilight, in the evening, at the time of night and darkness. That's what happens. Darkness over the face of deep. But the Ruach moved upon the face of the water. The Ruach need to come when that happens. And behold, a woman meets him, dressed like a prostitute. Why? Because that's what happens. They dressed in all darkness. He said, what did a prostitute wear? They wore all dark clothes. Right? What happened? They covered their face. Wily of heart. She is loud and wayward, and her feet does not stay at home. Why? He said, their feet don't stay in the gun. Her feet don't stay as an azar with her husband, as she's supposed to be doing. She ain't doing it. She not a nazar to her husband, so she's out doing other things. Because she's supposed to be watching just like you are supposed to be watching. But she ain't doing it. She doing something else. Now in the street, now in the market, at every corner, she lies in wait, just like a predatory animal. Right? But we're not there, right? Going to the book of we're going to the book of Yeshayahu, the book of Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, the book of Isaiah chapter 45, Yeshayahu chapter 45 and verse 2, Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 2, Yeshayahu chapter 45 verse 2. I will go before you and level the exalted places. Why? And I will break in pieces the door of bronze and cut through the bars of iron. I will give you the treasures of darkness. He said, what do you mean treasures of darkness? And hoards in secret places, that you may know that it is I, Yahuwah, the Elohim Yasharal, who call you by your name. How you going to do that? How you going to get treasures of darkness? Because when you sit in darkness, he says, it's not of much watching. But he says, my son, store up these commandments and these words in your lab, and your lab, and your makashabat, and your imaginations, and keep them as frontlets between your eyes. Matter of fact, look straight ahead. Because these are the treasures of darkness. Because when you have the treasures of darkness, you have those treasures on the inside of you, you'll be able to see in darkness. But if you don't have those treasures, then guess what happens? That you may know that it is I, Yahuwah, the Elohim Yasharal, who call you by your name. This is how you're going to know. Let there be light. Longest night. That's how you're going to know he called you by your name. Let there be order. For the sake of my servant Yaakov and Yasharal, my chosen. Why? Because Yaakov was the inheritor. Yasharal. He was the inheritor from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He was the trustee. He was the person that inherited everything. The same way Yahuwah gave Adam the gun. I call you by your name. I name you, though you do not know me. Yahuwah said, I named you, even though you don't know me. You know how Yahushua said, how is it that you don't know me, Philip? He said, he that has seen me has seen the Father. How you don't know me? And you don't even ask where I'm going. And guess what? I am Yahuwah, and there is no other. He said, ain't nobody. Besides me, there is no Elohim. Is it not written in your Torah says you are Elohim? Look at what he said. Besides me, there is no Elohim. He said, you need to know you are Elohim, so you'll know that besides me, there is no other Elohim. He said, I don't want to believe I'm Elohim. Then guess what? Then you ain't going to understand this. Because you are an Elohim. And you can be worshipped like an Elohim. So Yahuwah said, besides me, there ain't no other Elohim. And just like there ain't no other man. So you're saying there ain't no other men in the world? There's other men in the world. There are other gods in the world. You are a God. But he said, you married to me. Because you're married to my words. You have my treasures on the inside of you. You have your treasures, just like on the innermost part. We talk about the four corners. In the innermost parts of yourself, you have the Aaron's rod, that Aharon's rod, you have the zizit, you have the rod that budded, you got the 10 Commandments, you got the Ark of the Covenant, you got the mercy seat with the wings touching the walls with the mercy seat above. So he said, ain't no other Elohim above me. He sits above the mercy seat. He ain't no Elohim before me, right? He said, that's where your treasuries at. But he said, but look at your eyes. Your eyes dark. You need some. Keep your eyes straight ahead. Matter of fact, treasure up these words in your heart. Make them as the sown in your eye. Your eye. Right? And guess what? I call you by your name, and I name you, though you do not know me. I am Yahuwah, and there is no other. Besides me, there is no Elohim. I equipped you, though you do not know me. That people may know from the rising of the sun, evening, morning, first day. He say from the longest night, when the longest night goes? When the longest night is over, the sun rises. From the rising of the sun and from the west, that there is none beside me. He's saying none. Absolutely none. I am Yahuwah, and there is no other. I form the light, evening, morning, and create darkness. I created winter solstice. I created the winter solstice. Yahuwah created the winter solstice, the longest night, so that his people Yasharal may know that there is no other Elohim before him, and there is no Elohim besides him. That's the only reason he made the winter solstice. Yahuwah made it the winter solstice. I form the light and create darkness. I make well-being and create calamity. I'm the one who do it. I create your well-being and I create calamity in your life. Why? So I want to see if you got those commandments treasured up, and those treasuries that I gave you, and those attentive words that you're supposed to still have inside of you, the amar, the utterance, my speech. And you need to have them as pupil of your eye. You need to bind them like your sister, make it like your sister and your companion, and be married to it. I want to see if you're married to it. That's the only reason I allow these things to happen. Are you married to them? Because it should stop you. It does. It says, guess what it says? I form the light and create darkness. I make well-being and create calamity. I am Yahuwah who does all these things. So please, he said, you did it. No, I did it. And then he says, shower, O Shamayim from above, and let the clouds rain down righteousness. Let the earth open, that salvation and righteousness may bear fruit. That's why Yahushua said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. That's why he told you to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That's why Adam called his woman Kaya. He called her woman Kawul, for she's the mother of all living. He said, break forth and cry. He break forth and cry, thou that bearest not, for more. He said, more children are the desolate than she that has a husband. Who did it? Am I the one who withheld you from having a child? as you recall, raised her voice at your code. He's like, no, I didn't do anything. And guess what? Let the earth open. You get what it says? Let the earth open, that salvation and righteousness may bear fruit. And let the earth cause them both to sprout. Yeah, because the mother of all living, this earth is alive. The earth is alive. It is a feminine female, and it's alive. It's alive. It's a living organism. It is a living organism. It is alive. It has a light, an innermost core on the inside too. It is alive. It has evil parts of it inside of the earth too. It has Sheol itself, just like you got it inside of you. Yahuwah has to extract it, or he has to correct. He has to make sure Sheol stay in a certain place inside of you. The very same thing he does in the earth. He got to make sure he check it every now and then to make sure its gates are closed. The very same thing he do on the earth. It is a living organism. Because you ain't supposed to be like the beings in Sheol. He said you lock them things away. Why? Because they're supposed to be locked away. Nobody supposed to have the key to let them out. But Satan got the key though. That's why he be playing with you. He say Satan has the key to open up Sheol inside of you. Let the earth cause them both to sprout. I am Yahuwah, have created it. He made it this way. He did. Woe to him who strives with him who formed him. He say, why would you strive with the person who treasured up the words, who made the Shamayim and the Aydahs, who formed everything? Why would you strive with that person? Who entrusted the Ish with the gun, and the Isha to assist him, Azar. Why would you strive with this person who formed you that way? Woe to him who strives with him who formed him. A pot among earthen pots. He say, look, you just a pot among earthen pots. He say, does not the clay say to him who forms it, what are you? Does the clay say to him who forms it, what are you making? Do you say that? What you making? Or your work has no handles? Woe to him who says to a father, right? So people say, I really do need to be afraid of my father. Why? Because you need to understand you don't need to be saying things to your father. Some things you don't need to be saying at all. This is why when each they have a father, it becomes detrimental. The same thing when a daughter has a father, don't have a father, it becomes detrimental. Why? Because if he ain't in the image and likeness of Yahuwah, if he's not in the image and likeness of Yahuwah, then guess what happens? It becomes detrimental. The same thing. When that man is in the image and likeness of Yahuwah, then you say something to your father, your Abba, your father, guess what happens? Woe to him who says to his father, what are you begetting? He said, woe to you. He said, why your father correcting you? Why your father doing these things to you? Because he want to create you into a good daughter and son that can be married to each other, that you can perform the very same things that Adam and Qahalath did in the garden. The very same thing. That's why he's checking you. It's the very same thing. Because I need you to be just like Adam and Qahalath. Because nobody was ever made like them before. Who was made like Adam and Qahalath? Show me. Woe to him who says to his father, what are you begetting? Or to a woman, with what are you in labor? He's like, or to a woman, with what you are in labor. He said, woe to you. What are you in labor for? Because he's forming something inside of you. Why do you think he used both male and female in this situation? Because the earth is a living organism. The very same thing, when the earth gives birth, when a woman gives birth, she opens up. The very same thing when Satan sends his flood after you, she's going to open her mouth and swallow them up. The very same thing. He said, what are you making? Thus says Yahuwah, the Qahalath one of Yasharal, and the one who formed him. Ask me of the things to come. But if you ask wrongly, he ain't going to tell you. Because you ain't got them commandments treasured up in your heart and in frontlets between your eyes. And you asked wrong. You asked, but you asked wrong. You got quarreling and fighting. He said, what you asking me for? That says Yehuda, Kudash from the Yasharal, and the one who formed him. Ask me of the things to come. Will you command me concerning my children and the work of my hand? He said, you gonna command me concerning the work of my yard? So you're going to tell me what to do. That's the same thing in a father and a home. So you're going to tell the father and the husband what to do. I made the earth and created man, Adam, on it. He said, I made this whole thing and I put the man, Adam, in it. It was my hands that stretched out the shamayim. It was my yard who made the whole shamayim. I created this whole thing. And I commanded all their hosts, and I command all my servants. So why are you striving against everything I'm doing? I have stirred him up in righteousness. He said, man, you done stirred him up. What happened? And I will make all his ways level. Why? When everything's level, you can build on it. When he makes all his ways level, because when things are erratic and you got all these lumps and things you can stumble under, why? Because you just read that it says you're going to be lights. He said, store up these treasures in your eyes and your eyes, and let them be your commandment. Let it be your companion and your sister. Because your pupil of your eye is dark. And if you can't see, you're going to stumble over something. But if he makes it level, you ain't gonna stumble no more. He shall build my city, right? Because when everything's level and smooth and level, then you can build. But when everything is all off, then guess what? You can't build yet. Why do you think Satan, when in the beginning stages of what you're trying to do, he always puts all these different obstacles in the way? Because he don't want your thing to get level. Because once it gets level, then you can build on it. That's the only reason he puts all these obstacles and all these restrictions and try to make things hard for you. Why? Because he don't want things to be level. He wants things erratic. That's the only reason he does it. He said, he shall build my city and set my exiles free. Huh? He said he's going to do what? He's going to set them free. You can't do that when you caged up like a caged bird. Why do you think Yahushua came and said, I'll come that you might have life and have it more abundantly? Why do you think he said that? Right? It says, not for a price or reward, says Yahuwah of hosts. And he said he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna be for no price. Right, go in the book of Matthew Yahoo. The book of Matthew. Actually, you could John chapter 8. Go to John chapter 8. You can on chapter 8. John chapter 8, verse 29. John chapter 8, verse 29. John chapter 8, verse 29. It says, and he who sent me or shalach me is with me. He has not left me alone. He said he ain't never left me alone. For I always do the things that are pleasing to him. Why? Because he stored up his treasures. He stored up the bar, his words, and the commandments in his heart and mind. Matter of fact, he said, wisdom Huckam is my sister and my companion, and I'm married to his words. And he do always the things that please him. Why? Because the bar needs to be pleased. Why? The only way to please it, you got to obey it. You obey your father's word, and it pleases him. That's how you please someone. And he was saying these things, many believed in him. He said, many believed. So Yahushua said to the Yahudim who had believed in him, if you abide in my word, if you treasure up my words and my commandments, if you treasure them up, Safan, if you store them up, if you abide in my debar, and you are truly my disciples. He said, then you are truly my disciples. My son, keep your eyes straight ahead. Because broad is the way to destruction, and narrow is the way to life. And few that be that find it. It's a narrow way to get to freedom. You want to be set free? Keep your eyes straight ahead. If you abide in my debar, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Because that's what he came to do. You're going to know it. It's going to set you free from this captive world, this backwards world. Because it's all backwards. It's going to set you free. It's all backwards. It's all opposite. Some things are opposite, some things are not. You have to discern between good and evil. But guess what it says? They answer him, we are the offspring of Abraham and have never been enslaved to anyone. He said, man, we've been so rich. You know how wealthy we are? Man, we ain't never been slaves. How is it that you say you will become free? Yahushua said, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who practices sin is a slave to sin. Now you say, man, you're just a slave. Guess what? The slave does not remain in the house forever. Why? Because he said you don't remain in the house forever. He said, what are you going to say to the clay going to say to the potter? What are you making? I formed the shamaim in the earth. I stretched it out in my yard. I formed all its hosts. I did all these things. He said the son remains forever. Why would he say the son remains forever? My son, treasure up my commandments. Adam. Treasure up my commandments. Store it up. Because the son going to remain forever. And in order for the son to remain forever, you got to make sure his darkness is light. Because you got to be able to see. But guess what? So if the son sets you free, that's why he says, now you see why you need a son. Why does the son got to inherit? Why does the son have to be the trustee? Because the son, if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed. My son, treasure up my commandments. I'm going to keep you from the forbidden woman, because you know that's going to be a problem for you. They are forbidden. Why? Daughter, it's going to keep you from the forbidden man, because he is forbidden. Right. And guess what? You will be free indeed, because you don't want to be in a position to where you don't have your thoughts in alignment. You don't. You don't want to do that. And it says right here, if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are an offspring of Abraham, yet you seek to kill me. And man, because my debar has no place in you. You can't treasure up the debar. You can't treasure up his commandments inside of you. It has no place in you. Because it ain't stored. You can't store anything up in there. You have old stuff in there. And guess what? I speak of what I have seen with my father. He said, I'm only speaking what he told me to treasure up in my heart and my mind. I'm only speaking hakma, wisdom that he's given me because of the information and intellect that he showed. I'm only speaking according to that. I speak of what I've seen with my father, and you do what you have heard from your father, because they come to steal, kill, and destroy. They don't have hakma on their tongue. Wisdom. Right? Because these are all a part of it. All right, so going to book of Isaiah, going to the book of 1 Kings. 1 Kings. Go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 20 and verse 12. 2 Kings chapter 20 and verse 12. 2 Kings chapter 20 and verse 12. Ba'ith Shanim Malakim 20 and 12. At that time, Murdoch Baldan, the son of Baladan, the king of Babylon, sent envoys with letters to present to Hezekiah. He sent an envoy of letters, right? He said them audit letters. That's what they do. They watching you. For he heard that Hezekiah had been sick. They heard you sick. Man, there's something going on with you, man. Something look like everything look like you getting ready to die, man. We want to see what you got. Cause you ain't got nothing in you ain't got no trust. You ain't got no will. You ain't got nothing. You ain't keeping your inheritance, right? And y'all ain't even doing the covenants. You ain't doing the covenant that Yahuwah made with you. So, hey, man, I heard you sick. You getting ready, get everything getting ready. Where all this stuff you getting ready to have? Where it's going to be going to? Who's it going to go to? And Hezekiah welcomed them and showed them all his treasures. Right? They showed him what? They showed him all his treasure, his safan, the treasures of his house. He said, you don't show them all the treasures of your house. Did he know you not that your body's the house, the Ba'ith of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah, in the innermost parts of yourself? He said, you don't show all his treasures in the house, the silver, the gold, the spices, the precious oil, his armory, and all that was found in his storehouses. He said, treasure up these things, treasure up his commandments and words, right? But he said, you don't show them all. Because that word for saphon also means to hide. It means hidden. It means deny. It meant to deny too. There was nothing in his house or all that was in his realm that Hezekiah had not shown them. He said, in your realm. Because what do you think the innermost parts of yourself is? It is a realm. It is a domain. It is a place that you cannot even comprehend. Even though you don't, you even said, who you gonna tell the clay? Gonna tell the potter what he making? Do you know how vast this body is that I'm making for you? That you inside? And Hezekiah did not show them. Then the Yeshayahu, the Nabi, came to King Hezekiah and said to him, what did these men say? And from where did they come? Where did they come to you? And Hezekiah said, they have come from a far country, from Babylon. They came from real far. And he said, what have they seen in your house? This is why you don't want people to come in your house. He said, why you don't want people coming to your house? Because people come in your house, they only come to see what you got. They only come to gossip and slander. They only come to mock and quarrel. They want to come and talk about you when you leave. They talking about what you got. As soon as they see it, they leave and they go talk about what you own, what you got, where you at. That's all they doing. This is why you don't want to let everybody in your house. Because if you do that, you know what happens? They can destroy your house. They can destroy it. That's why everybody's trying to be in your business. That's the only reason. That's why when an Isha is not in alignment with her thoughts with her Ish, or her husband, then guess what happens? Everything get revealed. And they come destroy it. Right? Satan gives all the tools today. It's not even hard anymore. And it says, they came from a far country, from Babylon. Man, they came on the phone. They actually got on a plane and came and spied it out. I didn't even think people would do that. He said, man, you really must want to destroy me. You spending money to do it? Oh yeah, you really want to take me down. Yeah, what it says. And it says, and from where did these men say? And where did they come from? And Hezekiah said, they have come from a far country, from Babylon. And he said, what have they seen in your house? Be careful what you let people see in your house, whether it's good or evil. Be careful. If they find out something evil on you, I assure you, they come in the noise of the broad because they work together with Satan. And if they find something good, I assure you, they're coming to steal and destroy it. 100%. It's been like that for 6,000 years. right? Yahuwah said, because the imagination of man's heart was only evil continually, his makashban is yes, because they ain't have his words treasured up in their heart and their mind. Every imagination and thought was only evil continually. And the whole earth was filled with violence, kamas, unjust gain. For 6,000 years. It's been like that for thousands of years. What makes you think it changed? It ain't never changed. The same way Yahuwah hasn't changed. This world ain't changed yet. They have come from a far country in Babylon. And he said, what have they seen in your house? And Qahalath answered, they have seen all that is in my house. Why do you think treasures also means? Safan means also denied. He said, you ain't got to show, let me see what's in your house. This, and this. Wow. And guess what? They have seen all that is in my house. There is nothing in my storehouses that I did not show them. He said, you showed them everything, didn't you? Then Yeshayahu said to Qahalath, hear the word of Yahuwah. This is what happens when you show everybody in your storehouse. Behold, the days are coming. He said, it ain't right now, but eventually they're coming. When all that is in your house and that which your fathers have stored up to this day, I mean all the inheritance that your fathers stored up. So that means from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, from all the men who came before him, up until that point. Just by you make Ish, a man, a king, a ruler, making one mistake. One mistake. Behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and that which your fathers have stored up till this day shall be carried to Babylon. Just by one mistake. One thing revealing to somebody can destroy your life. Just one mistake. Nothing shall be left, says Yahuwah. Just one mistake. My sons, store up these treasures, these safan in your heart and your mind. Matter of fact, store up these commandments too. Why? And guess what? Nothing shall be left, says Yahuwah, and some of your own sons who will come from you, whom you will father, shall be taken away, just by one mistake. Why do you think people take children away from their fathers? Why do you think they do that? Because you showed them too much. Because they know you got stuff. They know you got something that they want, so they take things that you want to get what they want. That's why they take the children away from you. That's why. And guess what? Shall be taken away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. You're going to serve, you're going to be a slave. You're going to be a slave. That child is nothing but a slave. That's the only reason it was taken. Why do you think that son was taken away from you? That son was taken away from you because they want to make him their slave. That's why you think women take children away from their fathers. Because they want to make their son their slaves. You're supposed to be storing up the treasure of the words in the bar of your father in your heart and your mind. It says, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then Qahalath said to Yeshayahu, the word that you have spoken is good. He's like, it's good. It's real good. And guess what it said? For he thought, why not? He didn't care. He's like, why not? If there will be peace and security in my days, as long as there's peace and security in my days, as long as I get what I got, and I get to enjoy life, I don't really care about that. Even though my one mistake has cost me everything. I could care less. As long as there's peace and shalom in my day, I don't really care about those people that's coming after me. Because a good man leaving the son an inheritance. I don't care. Who gives a blank, right? And that's what they say. The word of Yahuwah that you have spoken is good, for he thought, why not? If there will be peace in Shalom Amade, the rest of the deeds of Kazakyah and all his might, and how he made the pool and the conduit and the broad water into the city, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Yehuda? Right, so he still kept building, but he ain't kept. And the very same thing when you look at this world today, nobody cares. But that's why you guys keep your eyes straight ahead. Keep your iron straight ahead. Bind them as the apple of your eye. It's on, right? And keep your eyes straight ahead, because they coming. He said, don't look to the left and the right. Look straight ahead. Right, so this is the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 15. Proverbs 15, mostly Proverbs 15:15. All the days the afflicted are evil, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. Better is a little with the fear of Yahuwah than great treasures and trouble with it. He said, it's better to have the commandments stored up in the treasures in your treasuries with the fear of Yahuwah than to not, and to be stored up with treasures from other things. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is. Right? He said it's better. It's a dinner of herbs. How you say Taub Aruka Yerak Ahaba Shem, with a loving name. Then a fatted ox, it's sure, it's so, right? With Shane with it, it come with it, bow, it come, right? That Shane, that hatred, right? Because that's all a part of what? Not having the commandments stored up in the treasuries of your mind. And you go into deep darkness and you start to produce hatred. Hatred gonna come. It's lurking. It's always there. It's not going anywhere, right? Right, so this is the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 33. Go to Yeshayahu 33. 33. Yeshayahu 33 and 1. Yeshayahu 33 and 1. Ah, you destroyer, who yourself have not been destroyed, you traitor. Now you see why I think the longest night, when they went in Mizraim, what he said, we're gonna you have the blood on the doorpost and on the top, right, on the whole door, that the destroyer don't come and destroy you. And it was darkness over the whole land. This very same thing, you go into the longest night with the winter solstice. Ah, you destroyer, who yourself have not been destroyed. Why? Because you work together with Satan, if you have this type of mindset. But you yourself, ain't nothing happened to you. You traitor, he call you a traitor. Why? Because you done revealed the things in the storehouse. You traitor. You a traitor. Whom none has betrayed, he say, you a traitor. He betrayed all the fathers and everybody's descendants before it. He said, you traitor. And guess what? When you have ceased to destroy, you will be destroyed. He said, when you stop, when you finish, because you will be like, I'm watching you the whole time. When you stop, when you continue destroying, he said, I'm going to destroy you after it's over with. He said, you traitor. And when you have finished betraying, they will betray you. Who is that? He said, man, they going to betray you, right? So that was Yeshayahu 33. Right, so this is the book of, he said, you betrayer, right? Right, going to the book of Matthew chapter 27. He said, man, you betrayer. He said, who is that? People don't even know. It's Matthew chapter 27 and verse 3. Matthew 27 and 3. Then when Judas, his betrayer, you You betrayer, you destroyer. You a destroyer. You get what he said? Saw that Yahushua was condemned, because he fought that false accusation. He said, yeah, he condemned now. You traitor. I saw he condemned now. You a traitor. He changed his mind. Oh, he changed his mind. Oh, because Yahuwah is not a man, he's changed his mind. And brought back the 30 pieces of silver. He had a change of heart. You know how people say, I had a change of heart. Matter of fact, I know I did that. I saw he was condemned already. I put all his business out there. I pretty much revealed all the things that was in his storehouse and all his things, and I revealed it to other people, and I saw that he was condemned. You know what I said? Judas, his betrayer, saw that Yahushua, when I saw he was condemned, you know what I did? He changed his mind and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders. Then I went on here and back, and I said, you know what? I had to change your heart. I already seen he got condemned after I revealed all his secrets and stuff to other people. Now I saw he condemned. You know what? I want to go be with him again. I want to go be with him again. He said, you a traitor. You betrayer. And he said, when you finish destroying, I will destroy you. And guess what? Saying, I have sinned by betraying the innocent blood. He said, man, I didn't even know. He said, man, I have sinned. You traitor. And guess what? They said, what is that to us? They don't care. I promise you. Babylon don't care. Them chief priests and elders don't care. Once you reveal some secrets about somebody they hate to them, they don't care. They don't care. Even if you try to repent and say, man, I have sinned, I've done wrong, they don't care about you. He be like, man, I shouldn't have never did that. They don't care. Believe you me. They love the fact that he was condemned. When Yahushua was condemned, they found something. They found like they found something on him. They loved it. See it to yourself. It's like, man, that's your junk. That's what they do. Once you be a traitor of your household and your family and the people that you claim you were with in love and compassion, once you do that, they don't care about you. That's your stuff. And he says, and throwing the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed and went and hanged himself. He said, after you betraying and you done betraying, you destroyer, I'm going to destroy you. He said, I'm going to destroy you. You traitor. But the chief priest taking the pieces of silver, it is not lawful to put them into the treasury. It is what? It is not lawful to put it into the treasury. So you're going to put these type things in your heart and your mind. You're going to put that you're going to store those commandments, those treasures in your treasuries. You're going to put that in your treasuries. Blood money. Innocent blood. Those are the type of commandments you're going to share. Innocent blood. That's the commandments you're going to put in your heart and your mind. But Yahuwah said, I'm going to destroy you. He said, you want to put that as your treasury. I want to slander the shed blood. Okay. I want to gossip the shed blood. I want to gossip so that he could be condemned and slander so he could be condemned and he could look a certain way. Okay. And then you want to store that commandment in your heart and your mind and then have it in your treasury. You better keep your eyes straight ahead. And guess what? He departed and he went and hanged himself, because that's what happens. But the chief priest taking the pieces of silver and said, it is not lawful to put them into the treasury, since it is blood money. Yeah, you going to put that in your treasury? I'm sure Kazakh Yah, you think he had blood money inside them treasuries that he revealed? Because Yahushua ain't even came on the scene yet. And guess what? Since it is blood money, so they took counsel and brought them to the potter's field. So is the potter, is the clay going to say to the potter what he making? As a burial place for strangers. And guess what? Therefore, the field has been called the field of blood to this day, you traitor. And that's what he said. He said, man, you shed innocent blood. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 33 and 1. Isaiah 33 and 1. Ah, you destroyer. He said deep darkness. Amazing that all that stuff that Judas did happened at night when it was deep darkness. Amazingly. It was darkness over the face of the whole land. And when Yahushua was betrayed, he was betrayed in the middle of the night. Ah, you destroyer, who yourself have not been destroyed. He said, you ain't been destroyed yet. You just kept doing it. You traitor, in whom none has betrayed. Nobody betrayed you. Yahushua ain't betrayed him. When you have ceased to destroy, you will be destroyed. He said, you're going to be destroyed. And when you have finished betraying, they will betray you. Why do you think they didn't take? See that to yourself. You thought you were going to have a change of heart, huh? See that to yourself. Right? Because they don't care. As soon as you bring them to court, as soon as you do all that, make those false accusations, I assure you them people don't care. Oh man, I should have never did that. Yahuwah says, they will betray you. And amazing, the same people you do it to are the same people oppressing you to take all your money. Traitors. They're the same people who take all your money out of your check. Traitor. Oh, Yahuwah, be gracious to us. We wait for you. He said, we wait. He said, who you waiting for? Be our arm every morning. Oh, and then when the sun goes down, it's the longest night. And when you wake up in the morning, he said, be our arm every single morning, and a morning sacrifice. Our salvation in the time of trouble. As a tumultuous noise, peoples flee. When you lift yourself up, nations are scattered. Well, he said, Yahushua said, the son of Adam be lifted up. I'm going to draw all people to myself. Why do you think he told Adam to lay up these treasures? He's my son. Lay up these treasures. Lay up these treasuries. Lay up these commandments in your heart and your mind. Lay them and look straight ahead, because he had to look straight ahead in order for him to be exalted. That he may be lifted up. That all nations may be scattered. They're going to be scared. Why? Because when the sun come up, when Yahushua come up, I assure you it's 144 degrees. When Yahushua get lifted up, it's 144 degrees when his rays hit you. You ain't going to be outside. You're going to sunburn your head off. Right? You're going to be scattered. Right? And your spoil is gathered as the caterpillar gathers. He said, man, just like the caterpillar. As the locusts leap upon, Yahuwah is exalted, for he dwells on high. He said, man, he up in his sapphire throne, his superior Chdsh throne, right above your head. Under his feet is sapphire, it's blue. You sitting in the sides of the north. And he says, is it not written in your Torah, says you're Elohim? But guess what? Besides me, there is none. But guess what? He will fill Saon with justice and righteousness. Why do you think he's doing it? Traitors. All these traitors. He said, y'all all are traitors. He said, you're a traitor. And he will be the stability of your times. Why do you think this is a 364-day cycle? We move into the 6th quarter. He's the stability of the times. And people say, you trying to change what I'm doing. He's like, you like them people in Daniel trying to change it. No, he's the stability of these times. How in the world am I supposed to understand it? He stabilized me. It's level. I can understand it. Even though Satan may be doing all these things because of traitors, but at the same time, it's still the same thing. Abundance of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. That's why you store up these treasures in your heart, in your mind. He says, store it up. The fear of Yahuwah is Saon's what? The fear of Yahuwah is Saon's treasure. So what do you think Qahalath gave away? What do you think he gave away? He showed them everything in the treasuries in the storehouse. What do you think he gave away when he did that? What do you think he showed them? And they took it away. They took away the fear of Yahuwah. They took it away. And amazing, that's what it's like today. And that rhymes. They took away your fear of Yahuwah. They took away your treasuries. They took away your commandments. They took away the storehouses of the treasuries of his utterance, his voice. They took away the bar. They took away your intellect, your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And they took it away. And now you don't fear Yahuwah no more. They took away your times too. This is a very important time right now. People say ain't time. It's very important. But guess what? When you get it back, don't let nobody take it from you. Matter of fact, don't even show nobody. Unless I tell you to. Behold, their heroes cry in the streets. What do you mean the heroes? He said they gods. The envoy of peace weep bitterly. Why? Because all your fear of Yahuwah has been taken away. Why do you think Ma Elohim, why do you think Yahuwah said, Ma Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Because of the fear of Yahuwah was taken away. Why? Because they were saying, if you be the son of Elohim, come down from the cross. Why? Because he was the heir. He was the person that was going to be the trustee over all them. They were going to be the servants. They were going to be the servants underneath. He was going to be beneficiaries of what he was doing. And guess what? They literally did not want nothing to do with him. They wanted his inheritance. They didn't want him in that position. They didn't. And guess what? The envoys of peace weep bitterly. The highways lie waste. The traveler ceases. Covenants are broken. Covenants are broken. That's why when you lose the fear of Yahuwah, you break the covenant. That's why I said it's being married to the bar. When you don't marry yourself to the bar, you break the covenants that you have. You will break them because you don't have the fear of Yahuwah. It's been taken away from you. It's been taken away. That's why then you become a traitor. You become a destroyer. You become a traitor when you break the covenant, and then you become like Satan, your father. And you break the marriage covenant. With the word, with the bar. And guess what? Covenants are broken, cities are despised. He said, you don't even care about the inheritance no more. There is no regard for man. You don't even care. Like Qahalath said, is it going to happen in my day? As long as there be peace and tranquility in my day, because they don't took the fear of Yahuwah away from you. The land mourns and languishes, everything is crying. You know what happens? Lebanon is confounded and withers away. Sharon is like a desert, and Bashan and Carmel shake off the leaves. Now you see why. You see why are there deserts in the world? Why is all these things happening? Is it because the fear of Yahuwah was taken away? And being that all these things have been taken away, that's why you see all these things in the world today. So when you're walking through the desert, you be like, why are we walking in the desert? Because the fear of Yahuwah has been taken away. Why the land ain't healed? Because the fear of Yahuwah has been taken away. If my people which are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I'll hear their prayer and I will heal the land. I will heal you. You gotta repent first. Why would you pray for somebody for healing when they ain't repent? Now I will arise, says Yahuwah of hosts. Now I will lift myself up. Why? Just like the sun. He said, I'm going to rise. Just like the sun rises out of the portal from the longest night. Why? Because everybody in darkness. Now I will be exalted. You conceive chaff, you give birth to stubble. Your breath is a fire that will consume you. As the peoples will be as if burned to lime, like thorns cut down that are burned in fire. Because when Yahushua get lifted up, it's 144 degrees. 144 degrees. And guess what? Hear you who are far off what I have done. And you who are near acknowledge my might. Right thing Yahushua said, if the son of Adam be lifted up, I'm going to draw all people to myself. I'm exalted now. I'm over you. I know you don't want me over you, Yahushua. Like, I know you don't want me over you, but I'm over you. All power is given unto me in Shamayim and earth. I know you don't want me over you, chief elders and pastors and teachers and evangelists and women and men. And all you people, I know you don't want me over you, but I'm over you. Yahushua already know people, he don't want them over here. I know you don't want me over you, but I'm still over you, though. And guess what? The sinners, get what it says. The sinners in Saon are afraid. Now the fear of Yahuwah don't return back. So Yahuwah said, as long as you keep on destroying, he said, you're a traitor, but I'm going to destroy you eventually. Now the fear of Yahuwah back. The sinners in Saon are afraid. Trembling has seized the godless. He said, now everything done came back. The fear of Yahuwah done came back. Once Yahushua rose and ascended, now the fear of Yahuwah done came back. Because there wasn't no fear. That's why they killed his son. That's why they killed his son. That's why they set his son up. That's why Judas was like, I had to change your heart. No, I destroy you too. And then they ain't going to betray you. They're not even going to listen to you. See that too. That's your stuff. They don't even care. The sinners in Saon are afraid. Trembling has seized the godless. Who among us can dwell with the consuming fire? That's why he said, Yahushua said, the wicked hate the light, neither come to the light, lest their deeds be reproved. Now they're afraid again. Yes, finally. The fear of Yahuwah has returned back. They are afraid of the bar. Even though they won't come to the light, even though they won't come to the or, guess what? That their deeds may be reproved. It's still a good thing. Because they fear Yahuwah's the bar. That's why they don't come. Hallelujah, right? That's what Yahuwah wanted. Right? Who among us can dwell with an everlasting burnings? He said, who gonna dwell with, why you think Satan and them are gonna be cast in the lake of fire? They're gonna be the bar all around them. The very same thing they hated and they don't want to hear. They're gonna be tormented by the debar. They're gonna be surrounded by the debar. The debar is gonna be all they're gonna be seeing in the hell. Sheol is filled with the debar. Who are gonna throw it? It's gonna be screaming. They're gonna be screaming because the debar gonna be in there. The word that they never wanted to hear is gonna be tormenting them because they're gonna hear all the words they never obeyed. They're gonna be hearing all the words they never obeyed in Sheol. They're gonna be tormented by it. They're gonna be all they're gonna remember is I had a chance to obey the debar and I never did. So therefore, you're gonna hear all the torments and the things in Sheol that you never did. And then you're gonna be tormented by it that you had a chance and you never did. And it's gonna consume your mind over and over and over and over again. And after that's over, I don't know what you're going to do. Nobody knows. But at the same time, that's where you're going to be at. So if you want to hear it now and be enlightened by it and love your father's voice, or you're going to hate his voice in Sheol, and he's going to be nothing but the bar all around, fire everywhere. Either way it go, you're going to hear it. Who among can dwell with this everlasting burnings, right? He who walks righteously and speaks uprightly. That's how you can do it. You walk in righteousness and you speak uprightly. Why? Who despises the gain of oppressions? What do you think, you traitors? It's all traitors. He said you a traitor. He said you betrayed the house. He said you a betrayer. You a traitor. Oh, you like unjust gain. You like the whole earth filled with violence. You a traitor. Yahuwah said you a traitor. Who shakes his hands lest they hold a bribe. Huh? Give me that thing. Give me that thing. Hold that bribe, right? Why do you think the chief priest said, man, it's blood money. We can't take this. They had a little bit of righteousness, but yeah, they still set him up. Judas like, man, I'm going to change your heart. And guess what? Who stops his ears from hearing of bloodshed? Why do you think they call it a field of blood? They didn't want to hear that truth. Judas like, I have sinned. We don't want to hear that. They stopped their ears up. They didn't want to hear that field of blood. They didn't want to hear that bloodshed. They just did. Because Judas confessed, I have sinned, and then they realized they sinned too. But as long as we can cover it up, Yahuwah can't see us. And shut his eyes from looking on evil, right? He will dwell on the heights. His place of defense will be the fortress of the rocks. His bread will be given to him, his water will be sure. Right? Read that again. He who walks righteously and speaks uprightly. That's the only person that will be able to withstand these everlasting burnings. And speaks uprightly. Who despises the gain of oppressions. Who shakes his hands, lest they hold a bribe. He said, I'm going to shake my hand. I don't want that bribe. I ain't no traitor. Because I ain't no traitor. And guess what? Who stops his ears from hearing of bloodshed? He said. And guess what? And shuts his eyes from looking on evil. Right, because you got to look straight ahead. Because you stored up the treasures and they're the pupil of your eye. They the pupil of your eye. It's on, right? It is like the little man. You know the little tiny man? The little man. That's the little child on the inside of you. And guess what? And shuts his eyes from looking on evil. He will dwell on the heights. He said, man, you abraku kanaf halak ruach. He gonna ride on the wings of the wind. He gonna dwell on the heights. He gonna be exalted. Because righteousness exalts a nation. And guess what? He will dwell on the heights. His place of defense will be the fortress of the rocks. He said, man, he said, the mountain of Yahuwah's house is going to be established in the top of the mountains and exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. His bread will be given to him. He said his lakam will give him. And what happened? Because he's going to eat bread all the days of his life like Adam. His water will be sure. He said this water is going to be just like as rain and snow come down from Shamayim, so that the Barbie that goes out of my mouth. It should not return to him void. It should accomplish what he sent it to do. It shall succeed from which he sent it. Your eyes, your iron will behold the king in his beauty. He said, man, you can see the king. You can see the malak. Yahusha's like, I already know y'all don't want me over you. He was like, I already know. But still, you're going to be over y'all. They will see a land that stretches afar. Your heart will muse on the terror. Where is he who counted? Where is he who weighed the tribute? Where is he who counted the towers? You will see no more the insolent people, the people of an obscure speech that you cannot comprehend, stammering tongues that you cannot understand. Behold, Saun, the city of our appointed feast. He said, the city of our appointed feast, because Saun has the fear of Yahuwah in it. Your eyes will see Jerusalem, your iron. He said your eyes gonna see it. And guess what? An untroubled habitation, an immovable tent. 6, 6, 6, 6. 4 sixes, 4 tent pegs. Immovable tent at the 4 corners. The tent of meeting. In the innermost parts of the body. Whose stakes will never be plucked up. 6, 6, 6, 6. 4 sixes. Nor will any of its cords be broken. He said, man, not one of these cords going to be broken. Not one. Forever, O Yahuwah, the bar is settled in Shamayim. And ever. But there Yahuwah in majesty will be for us a place of broad rivers and streams. And amazingly, what they call that river? Of broad rivers and streams, where no galley with oars can go, nor majestic ships can pass. He said, what kind of river is it? He said, majestic ship. He said, ain't nothing, majestic ships can't pass it, where no galley or oars can go. For Yahuwah is our judge. Yahuwah is our lawgiver. Yahuwah is our king. He will save us. For they shall call his name Yahusha in Matthew chapter 1. For he shall save his people from their sins. Because Yahusha said, he that has seen me has seen the Father. You seen me. Barak is he who have not seen but still believe that the Son, is in the Father and the Father in the Son. We almost finished. Your cords hang loose, they cannot hold the mast firm. It is its place, or keep the sails spread out. Then prey and spoil in abundance will be divided. Even the lame will take the prey, and no inhabitant will say, I am sick. The people who dwell there will be forgiven of their iniquity. You know why? You said they that are sick need a physician, but they that are not sick don't need one. But the king of Babylon said, we heard you sick, Hezekiah. We heard you was sick. Man, come on, let me go see what you. I know your life coming to an end, man. We need to find out what you got, man. Come on now. We know you messing this thing up. But guess what? And no inhabitant will say, I am sick. The people who dwell there will be forgiven of their iniquity. Right, so this is the book of Revelations. Book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1. Hazun, Revelation, chapter 21, and verse 1. Then I saw a new Shamayim and a new earth. For the first Shamayim and the first Adats have passed away. Why? Because there's 7 Shamayim. But guess what? And guess what? And the sea was no more. Because everybody has a starting point. Seek ye first the Malkut, and all these things will be added to you. Seek ye first. We all have a starting point for the 7 periods. He said the first Shamayim passed away. Amazingly, Yahushua died when? Oh, you mean the first period? And guess what? And I saw the Chdsh city, New Jerusalem. He said you're gonna see Jerusalem. Because they're gonna be, he's saying everybody gonna be there, they're gonna be sick, they're gonna be cleansed from all their iniquity. Matter of fact, the fear of Yahuwah gonna be there in Saul again. And you're gonna see Jerusalem. Everybody not gonna see it though. And I saw the Chdsh city, New Jerusalem, coming down from out of Shamayim, from Elohim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. You're gonna see Jerusalem. It's prepared. It's just like a bride for her husband, because they all in the same alignment in thoughts. To be alignment in the thoughts of New Jerusalem, to be aligned in the thoughts of your East, to be aligned in your thoughts with Yahushua Mashiach, is to be one with him. And have no evil betraying thoughts toward him. And you won't break any covenants. Right? And that's what happens. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the dwelling place of Elohim is with Adam, with man. And he will dwell with them. And they will be his people. Well, how was Adam made? Except that man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Elohim. How was Adam made? So the potter say, so the clay shakes to the potter what you making. How he made Adam? He made him from the Adamah. Nobody was made. Who was made from the Adamah? Who had a woman come out from a man made from the Adamah? For behold, the dwelling place of Elohim is with Adam, with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And Elohim himself will be their Elohim. Why? Because they're going to be the fear of Yahuwah there. They're going to be just like it was in the beginning. They're going to be just like it was when I made them. They're going to be just like it. And the people that's going to dwell there are going to be just like him. How I made it, they're going to be just like him. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. He said, man, you ain't going to be crying no more. You ain't going to be weeping and mourning no more, because the fear of Yahuwah is back. He said, we back. Who shall go up first? Seek ye first the Malkuth, and all these things will be added to you. People say, why they the first tribe in the actual who's sealed in their forehead? They say, why he like that? Because he's trying to tell you what to seek. Seek ye first the Malkuth, and all these righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And they will be his people, and Elohim himself will be with them as their Elohim. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Ain't gonna be no more destroying in there. Ain't gonna be no more death. Oh death, where's your sting? Oh death, where's your victory? We're immortal beings, immortal, highly intelligent neshama beings, made in the image and likeness of Yahuwah, with the same vastness and intellect. Not one evil thought will be able to abide there, because everybody has higher intellect, higher understanding, and higher knowledge. Nobody, you ain't gonna be able to live, you can't be around things like that, because you will be exposed. It's the very same thing when it comes to you can't be around innumerable fire and tormenting fire. It's just tormenting fire all around. He will wipe away every tear from the eye, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore. All the ain't nobody gonna be saying they're sick anymore, because you're gonna see Jerusalem. For the former things have passed away. And people say passing away is like, you mean like dying? Passing away is transformation. Passing away is transformation. And he who was seated on the throne, behold, I am making all things new. What do you think Yahuwah doing right now? He was saying, we're going to keep doing how things used to do. No. Higher intellectual knowledge than the Shama Ruach is now back, right? Say Yahuwah's off, his understanding of his own intellect is back. He's restoring it. It says, and he who was seated on the throne said, behold, I am making all things new. Also he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. Store it up in your treasuries, in your safan. Write these commandments and store it up in your treasuries. And he said to me, it is done. This is why he think he wants you to store it up, my son and daughter. And he said to me, it is done. I am the olive and the tooth. I am the 23. I am 1 through 22 of the olive book. I am the Safan. I am the Amar, the utterance. I am the Itzon. I am the pupil of the eye. I'm the little man. You know the little man you got? I'm that little man. That's me. And guess what? To the thirsty I will give from the spring of water of life without payment. And then what we just read in Yeshua. He said, you ain't gonna have to pay for it, because Yahushua gonna pay the price. I'm gonna give it to you without payment. And guess what? The one who conquers will have this heritage, and I will be his Elohim, and he will be my son. But as for the cowardly and the faithless, the detestable, and for the murderers, the betrayers, you know the betrayer. He said, you coward, you betrayer. And it says what? The sexual immoral, keep you from the forbidden woman. The sorcerers, the enchanters. Oh, you like to swallow up my servants and keep yourself alive, huh? You magic, you female prophetess, magic spell caster. You Nabi, I ain't never sent you. He said, you Ezekiel chapter 13 people. You Kaziel. The sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars. Their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. You're going to be tormented by the bar you never obeyed. It's going to be all around you. You're going to hear the bar that's you never obeyed. It's a restless, endless fire. It's going to consume you. He's going to surround you with all of the bar you never obeyed. And he's going to show you that you had a chance and you never did it. So therefore, he's going to have the bar speaking to you over and over again. And the only thing you're going to be hearing is your things you never did or never obeyed. Because you didn't store up in your treasuries. You didn't store it up in your heart and your mind, in your treasuries, in your frontal lobe, in your personality, in your thought process, in your 12 cranial nerves. You didn't store it up in your 12 manners of fruit. You didn't store it up in your yacht and your coffin, your regal. You didn't store it up in your tongue. You didn't have Hakman, wisdom in your tongue. And these are all a part of your life, right? This is the book of, right? So this is the book of Second Corinthians chapter 4. You almost finished 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 6. For Elohim who said, let light shine out of darkness. And we're going to the longest night. Amazingly. Let light or shine out of darkness, because it got to be the pupil of your dark eye. It has to be the illumination. It has to be stored up as the pupil of your eye has to be able to debar his commandments, his words, his utterance. It's going to light your way in darkness. Guess what? Let light shine out of darkness has shown in our hearts to give light to the light of the knowledge of the kabod of Elohim in the face of Yahushua Mashiach. But we have this treasure in jars of clay. Shall the clay say to the potter what he making? You have this treasure, these commandments, these words, the bar, in jars of clay. Who was made out of the clay of the ground? Who was formed from the Adam? Adam. And then he breathed into his nostrils the neshama, the ruach, his intellectual properties of the higher ethers, inside of his heart and mind. And guess what? To show that surpassing power belongs to Elohim and not to us. Because is it not written in your Torah says you are Elohim? But guess how you are intellectual and illuminated? There is no Elohim beside me. There is no other. I made the shabath in the earth. I formed the winter solstice. I made it. I allowed equal day and equal night. I made it. And it's not of us. We are afflicted in every way. Why? Because he's literally like shaping and molding you. So that's why you're afflicted. He's like, why? Because he's trying to mold you. And guess what? But not crush. Because you know how potter makes a bowl? He don't crush the bowl, right? They keep molding it, right? Because you know when you hit it with your fist when you just want to start over. But he's just still molding it. Perplexed, but not driven to despair. He's like, man, this thing don't feel good when he's molding me. He's like, guess what? But you're not driven to despair though. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. Because he ain't no traitor. Always carrying in the body the death of Yahushua Mashiach. You got this treasure in earthen vessels, in jars of clay, in bodies made from the Adama. You have this treasure in bodies made from the Adama. Aleph, Daleth, Mim, Ha, both male and female. That's why they have a at the end. And guess what? Always carrying it in the body of the death of Yahushua. What type of body did Yahushua come in? And guess what? So that the life of Yahushua also may be manifested in our bodies. For we who live are always being given over to death for Yahushua's sake, so that the life of Yahushua also may be manifested in our mortal flesh. How are you going to manifest me in your mortal flesh? My son, store up these treasures. Store up these the words, these utterances, voice in your mind. Store it up. Safan. Marry it. Write the commandments on your heart. Why? To keep you. So you can see in the dark. Because it's not much watching. And guess what? So death is, guess what it says? So that life of Yahushua may be manifest in our mortal flesh. So death is at work in us, but life in you. Because these words they speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. Since we have the same ruach of Amunah according to what is has been written. That's why the innermost parts of yourself is according to what's written. It's shaped a certain way. The tent of many has 4 tent pegs. And you can't move them out of the way. When you only have put 3, it's an unstable tent. And the wind blow, that thing going, and it's moving, and it's gone. Amunah, according to what has been written, I believed, and so I spoke. We also believe, and so we also speak, knowing that he who raised Yahushua will raise us also with Yahushua and bring us with you into his presence. For it is all for your sake, so that as Khan extends to more and more people, it may increase thanksgiving, praise, Yada, to the kabod of Elohim, so we do not lose heart. That's why he said we're not losing heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, it is. Our inner self is being renewed day by day, every morning, every single morning. Right. So this is the book of Sirach 3:17-23. My son and daughter, go on thy business in a meekness. So that shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before Yahuwah. Many are in high places and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. The Anu. For the power of Yahuwah is great, and honored with the lowly. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search for things that are above thy strength. But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. Store it up. Let it be your makashba and your yetzer. For it is not needful for thee to see with thy eyes the things that are in secret. Don't look to the left or the right or even behind you. Keep your eyes straight ahead. Bind these treasuries, and these commandments, and write them inside of you. Let wisdom be your sister and your companion, and be married to it. Hakman, let it be on your tongue, to keep you from a forbidden woman who don't have these commandments and this wisdom and knowledge and understanding in their tongue, who don't speak life and things into your life, and keep that force field around you, and don't become a traitor. And it says, but what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. Be not curious in unnecessary matters. For more things are shown unto thee than men and women and children and animals understand. And creatures and Bahima and Ulf and Dagah and Ramiz understand. And even Malachi. For even the Malachi desire looking at the things that you look into. They even desire to understand it. So if you look at that, we look at Yahushua Mashiach, we look at the light of life, we look at the Malachi of darkness, and then we look at the Malachi of light. We look at the understanding of truth and the understanding of what it means to walk in righteousness and purity of mind and purity of thought with pure hands and pure feet and pure eyes, and to keep our eyes illuminated in the darkness of our pupil with his treasuries, his safan, and his debar, his utterance, his amar, in the eye, in the iron, that your eyes may be continually lit, that your near may be continually lit on your menorah, that you may be able to watch in the night. So he say, as you move toward the longest night, understand there's a day of darkness and not light. It's a day of gloom, but yet, when the sun rises, it'll be, he said, let there be order. Even as Yahuwah is our sun, even as man waits for the sun, he said, we wait for Yahuwah more than they that wait for the morning. Knowing that Yahuwah is our sun, and his rays has touched us. And when his rays touch you, you be better to obey the word than to be tormented in everlasting fire and utterance of his voice that you never obeyed in Sheol, and be tormented day and night. To know you had an opportunity to be in the kingdom, but you never did the things that he required of you. And then Satan will be there with you, tormenting you, and letting you know I deceived you the whole time. So we look at all these things, we look at our inward man, we look at our inward being, in the innermost parts of ourselves, where we meet with Yahuwah always. And we know that only things that we see around us are all distractions, and they don't allow us to be aligned. But yeah, he said you put these things away, and Yahuwah says you have treasures in the Shamayim, right? Right, so this is the last thing that came to my mind. This is the last thing. This is the last thing. This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Matthew chapter 6 verse 19. Do not lay up yourselves treasures on earth, for where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. Right, the same thing with Kazikya, right? But lay up yourselves treasures in Shamayim, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. So when you store up these treasuries in your inward man, your inward being, they can't steal it from you. If they destroy your outward man, it's just going to reveal what's on the inside of you. And the Yahuwah going to take it with him. Because you are the treasure. It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So where your treasure is supposed to be at, on the inward man. So your heart and your heart and your mind and your thoughts need to always be inwardly and not outwardly. By staying to the treasuries inwardly, you will always have light in your pathway. That's why he said, if you then be risen with Yahushua Mashiach, seek those things which are above, because Jerusalem is coming from above. When Yahushua sits at the right hand of Elohim, set your affections on things above and not on things on the earth. For your life is hidden in Mashiach. For when Yahushua, who is your life, appears, you shall be like him. You shall be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. At the last period. True. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if the iron is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Store up these treasuries in your heart and your mind. Let them be as the pupil of your eye. Your iron will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, evil, your whole body will be full of darkness. You'll be just like the longest night. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Neither can an evil thought dwell in the mind filled with the light of the Torah. Know this peace with thy heart. Fulfill this peace with thy body. So we look at all that. We look at Yahushua Mashiach, and we look at the true light of life. We look at the love and compassion, the aura of illumination. And we allow his light and his love to shine within us. For today is a day of freedom. Today is a day that Yahuwah has given to us as a gift and in a time, that we may hear in utterance and store up these words in our heart and our mind, that we may not walk after our own imaginations and keep our mind and our eyes straight ahead. For today is the day that Yahuwah has given to us as a gift. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek, the Anu, shall inherit the Aydahs.